Hello and welcome to the Flashing Badger podcast. My name is Gordon and I am joined yet again by my friends
Wegs,
Fitz,
Mike.
And this week we are playing Havoc Brigade, a game about a band of daring orcs on a secret mission inside a human-infested city. Join us!
Flashing Badger, Flashing Badger, alright. Flashing Badger.
Okay, as I said before, we are playing the game Havoc Brigade, designed by Grant Howitt and by Rowan Rook and Descartes Games. Jump in the description, there'll be a link to their website. Check it out, I implore you. I'm sure it's going to be great fun. This is a game in which my players are playing a band of orcs. They're on a secret mission deep into a human city to kidnap a very important prince. Would you like to tell us something about the character you're playing today, Mike?
I'm going to be playing Moontooth, who is a shaman, so expect a little orky magic out of me.
Excellent. Fitz?
I'm going to be playing Profanius, devout paladin of Bog Al-Karok. Praise be his name.
That was amazing, thank you.
And Wegs?
I will be playing 6 goblins. We've tagged along for the ride. No one wants us here. Expect some intra-goblin bantering amongst themselves.
And 6 goblins equate to approximately 1 orc in value, I think is the exchange, right?
About that. Nearly, round it up.
Right. So, I want you to picture a generic fantasy world with goblins and dwarves and orcs and elves and things. And to set the scene for you, there's a great war going on. This war's been going on since before these characters were born. The humans in the south have been pushing their people further and further into the mountains. Generation of warfare is crushing the orc populace, but no longer. Grand Warlord Skull Smasher has united the tribes for the first time in history. And by using revolutionary military techniques such as planning, they're beginning to push the humans back. So these orcs have been summoned to form what's known as a Havoc Brigade, a crack squad of orcs, tough enough and smart enough to infiltrate the most difficult locations in like human cities. And these are all from different tribes. They're being united under one banner for the first time. There's going to be a little bit of tension. Mike, tell me about your tribe.
You'll refer to me as Moontooth.
Sorry, Moontooth.
And Moontooth is from the Weird Forest. He is of the old school orc clan. So picture a feral orc. And he despises this new way of thinking with tactics and improved armor. So I'm really frustrating for everyone else to be around as they try and work through their things. And I'm still working on my character voice, but expect there's something very annoying.
Good.
Work in progress.
Fitz, tell me about your character, Profanius.
Profanius, it doesn't really matter where Profanius is from because we are all from the one place, the one true God, which is Bog Al-Karok. Praise be his name. Bog Al-Karok is the first of the orcs to pull orcs from the ground like glittering parsnips, creating us all as once. Like the scriptures say, and the scriptures don't really say anything because they're not really real, but that doesn't matter because Bog Al-Karok is here for us all. He unites us all. Praise be his name.
Fitz, you have drunk the Kool-Aid something hard.
I'd like to do my character intro again.
I'd like to thank Kool-Aid for being the sponsors of today's video. So is Bog Al-Karok, is he like a kind and helpful god, or is he an apathetic god like Crom on his mountain?
No, Bog Al-Karok is probably Bog Al-Karok, praise be his name, is probably more of a god that, like the ancient legends of people, he's taught them that life is hard, that success is theirs for the taking, but you have to be strong enough to take it. You have to be strong enough to grip it by the hand, tear it in two, and praise his name, Bog Al-Karok.
Getting slightly concerned, so we might move away from Fitz and let him calm down.
That book could be the old Test Orcman.
I see it. I mean, I can see where it was going.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
It's all right, we'll fix it.
It's funny that you've moved on from me, and like many people, they move on from me very, very quickly because I do nothing but go on about Bog Al-Karok.
Praise be his name. Wegs, tell me about
I've converted one. I've got 2 more to go.
You're about to have 6 converts here. I'm 6 goblins. We just happen to be hanging around. We're part of every tribe and every orc culture, but we're sort of the second-class citizens. The the hangers-on, the underbelly, the seedy underbelly of orc society. We actually just happened to be hanging around on a roadside. We were picking parsnips. A lot of parsnips in this world. We were picking parsnips, and we just got swept up in the excitement. We heard about this. Billy Al Karok was his name. Sorry, I'll just
Bog Al Karok.
He sounds great. Tell me more about
Praise
him.
be his
And before we knew it, we were sort of just tagging along, and we've been swept up in this adventure, not really knowing why we're here, and not really wanted either.
So funny you should say that, because many days ago, Johannes von Trier, the military advisor of Prince Holstein, gave a briefing. This is unknown to you, just orcs, but in the city of Freiburg, gave this briefing talking about the new orc nation rising. And he said, "These are a different breed of orcs, sir. Stronger, smarter, better organized and equipped. They're making allegiances as we speak with the other monstrous races and forming squads of specialist troops to infiltrate our cities. The Havoc Brigade, the guardsmen are calling them. Next time you're staring down a mob of frenzied orcs that will put this city to the torch, find me and tell me the new orc nation isn't a threat. I, for one, sir, will endeavour to be as far away as possible." As I said, Johannes von Trier gave that stirring speech shortly before he found himself imprisoned in Greywater Rock for spreading malicious rumours concerning the enemy. So the humans are clearly unaware of your new power, and it's in that environment that the war chief, Skull Smasher, has called you into his briefing room. Before we hear from Skull Smasher, let's hear some words from our sponsors. Some reviews we received for the previous podcast we'd like to take a chance to read out now. So we got some great reviews on the Discord. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to read some of my favourites now. So from our Warhammer Only War episode, Bishan wrote one of my favourite reviews. It just says, "Babe, wake up. Flashing Pager just dropped a new podcast." Mike, what do you think?
What I love about that is the idea that there's a couple that listen to a podcast together, which the concept is insane. That you'd put it on and just sit opposite each other at a table and be like, "Don't make any noise, we're listening to a podcast."
We can only converse.
You listen to one ear and I listen to the other.
I was,
Oh,
picturing
yes.
I was picturing the one earpod thing, yeah for sure.
I love that idea, just sitting on the bus together up the back, one ear in each one, so people know you're together.
Yeah. And they'd just be sitting there in stony silence.
Yeah.
Obviously not laughing, not laughing.
One of our more serious
We must
episodes.
endure this. Next review is from Frank, reviewing Call of Cthulhu. He said, "I had a good laugh agreeing with you guys, saying, 'You're right, no human being would stack books like this.' Classic." So I'm glad that Frank can appreciate the lines that we stole from Ben.
Shamelessly stole, thank you.
Bishan again, I'm sorry, but he's getting 2 flies today. Bishan, we love you. And Bishan's one was from the Call of Cthulhu episode, where it just says, "Someone is calling me." Looks into camera. Cthulhu.
I love that.
I genuinely had no idea where that was going. And
No,
that worked
it's
out
fantastic.
great.
Sunglasses on sunglasses for that one.
Yeah, it's a shame that Bishan's writing better material than we are. Anyway, we'll catch that next time. After Skull Smasher has given the sponsor messages, you're going into his throne room, and it's giant tusks everywhere, and there's flaming torches. There's a cauldron in the middle where there's some hooded orc shaman, this gnarled wretch of a thing just doing it, and the smells fill your nose because there's no ventilation hole cut in the roof of the tent either, so it's just smoke
It's not
down to
compliant with
shoulder level.
standards at all.
No, everyone in there is just but Skull Smasher, as soon as you walk in, he talks like this. "Listen up!" I'm not going to keep that up. So, "You 3 orcs." And he sort of looks sidelong at Wegs, that is in fact a collection of goblins that are trying to sort of group shoulders around arms and standing on each other, trying to make themselves look big. He's like, "You orcs and things is my new Havoc Brigade. I have a very important mission. I want you to go into the filthy human city of Freiburg." And at that, he casts his gnarled hand across, and his giant shoulder pads. You hear the metal clinking together as he leans against the map, and this little set of curtains gets pulled back from a board, and there's this rudimentary map. It's basically just a circle with Freiburg written on it. And he sort of gestures, and he's looking at you now, looking at you for approval. Clearly, he's nodding.
Yes, but great.
You appreciate fine cartography, I see.
I sneeze, and when I sneeze, all the flames sort of dip and then relight. Sorry.
he gives you the side eye. He's like looking at you. So anyway, as I was saying before, you complimented my cartography. The city of Freeburg. In there, you would know who lives there. Prince, you tell me. Profanius of your clan. Tell me. I know Bog Al Karuk guides your eye. Tell me who lives there. The prince.
The prince, yes, Bog Al Karuk. Praise be his name.
Praise
Praise
his name. And also with you.
You need to do it 6 times every time I say it.
I'm stretching this.
I don't think we'll subject anyone to that.
But Profanius, you obviously know the name of said prince.
Yes, it is the Prince of Tides.
Nice. That is Streisand. Wrong. You do not talk about Streisand in Skull Smashers 10. She knows what she did. Sorry, Barbara. He's like, no, Prince.
She's very litigious.
I apologise, Miss Streisand. He's like, Prince Holstein, the filthy Huey leader. So the plan is you get in and you get him alive and you bring him here and I will show him the many methods of extracting information that I have, like the thumbscrews and Moontooth. What's another one?
When you be polite to him.
Yeah, the being polite. I hate that. And Profanius. What's another one?
There's the cutting their tongues out, but you have to ask them the question first, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah, Skull Smasher sees minor problem with your plan, but I like the energy. You small mini orc.
Yes.
What is you thinking?
Yes, we do a good old-fashioned roast. One of our 6 esteemed colleagues is a part-time stand-up comedian.
Yeah, we cook them and then we eat them.
No, more like
shut it.
No,
I got you. We eat them, but after the tongue is in the mouth. Anyway, I want to know your plan. I have given you this amazing cartographic map. How is you going to get in? And they actually have a map to look at here. So you're just going to use your imagination. We might be able to put a link in the thing. I don't know how Discord works, but or how podcast services work. Mike's my technical expert. He might be able to put a link for you. He's making a face that suggests he can't. Anyway, imagine a map. It's got a city in it. Look, Skull Smasher believes in employee autonomy. I don't want to micromanage. What do you think? Where's the vulnerable points in the city?
The city is very old, and using the old ways, I know that beneath the city is the sophisticated sewer system, so you don't need to go above ground and through the lake to get to the Great Palace. You can come from beneath. But the sewer system entrance is quite close to the Great Palace. I'll leave it to you guys to decide how we get there. But I only have a zone 1 and 2 ticket.
I like the idea that you'll be underground for about 12 feet. You just go down and straight back up like the manholes
Man,
are
it's like
adjacent to each
had
other.
it all worked out. He's like, no, it's more of a outside the walls thing.
Yeah.
And Profanius here. Profanius knows the city well. In fact, there's one thing Profanius does know, is that he knows the hidden human cults that the city has that worships the god Bog Al Karuk. Praise be his name.
Praise be his name, praise be his name, praise be his
Nope.
name, praise be his name.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So, yeah, I know that there's a lot of hidden human cults in the city. I know there's definitely one in the Warrens, and definitely one in the Plaza of Flowers.
There's a zoo on the map.
There is. What kind of animals are in the zoo? I'll come back to you later.
Thank you.
Wait,
yes,
do the goblins have any input in this at all, or are they not clever enough for this?
No, we're happy. Well, sewage. You had us at sewage. We're sorting for this.
And can you tell me briefly, there are 6 goblins there. Are they like one unit, or do they have distinct thoughts and
No,
feelings and personalities?
there are 6 personalities. Unfortunately, I only have 2 voices. I've got squeaky stock fantasy goblin voice, and then there's the part-time comedian I mentioned. He's from a town in Goblin-ania called Brooklyn. He's a bit sick of all this nonsense. He's along for the ride. Hey, get a load of this guy over here with his preaching Bog Al Barry, am I right? Sounds like a real jerk.
Hey, like your wife, she'll look great when you take the bridle off her.
Hey.
I love that there's a 1 in 6 chance when something happens that we're getting that guy.
Yes, I'm going to roll a dice every time.
Okay, so the warband gets ready to set out, tell me about the preparations before you make your way to the city. What kind of things do you do? How do you get there? Travel by horseback, or do you walk? How do you move about in the land of Orc?
We figured we would just ride on the shoulders of the orcs, if that's cool. Happy with that?
I
Great,
like
good chat.
I like the idea that Wegs is like you mentioned, like 6 goblins desperately trying to make an orc shape. And they have like a tatty overcoat over them.
Yeah.
That's sort of, with a hat that can, humbling around.
Not to get too far ahead, in my equipment list, I do have stolen glasses, a large coat, and a soiled wig. They'll come in handy later.
So, Wegs, that begs a question. Are you presenting as one orc to these to your colleagues here, or are they aware that you're goblins?
No,
and
I
you're
think I am 6 goblins. They know I'm 6 goblins, and it's distasteful having goblins around. But we're on a mission, so we'll get it done.
I have the ability to travel via teleport. That's not on my sheet. I've just made that up. Unfortunately for me, as a means of travel, I can only teleport about 2 feet at a time, and it has a cooldown that takes several minutes. And during that cooldown period, I can't move. So it may not be the best way to get to the city.
I love it. It's fantastic. It's the best ever. I will allow you to have that power. Approaching the city, give me some consensus. Which direction are you approaching in from? Which gate are you going to move towards?
Well, I like the idea of going towards Glittergate because it sounds to me as if a kind of controversial sort of presidential style liaison where maybe Mariah Carey.
It's named after the dancing girl I fell in love with.
Yeah. I like the idea that Mariah Carey was in office and then they made a movie about it and the controversy of her getting there and they called it Glittergate. And that's a shout out to all those people that know the movie that I'm referring to here. One of the most understated movies of all time.
I still haven't seen
Glitter.
Chasing Amy.
Now, so
Comment in the Discord if you know what movie I'm referring to.
as you start to make your way out of the tent, Skull Smasher's like, "Wait! Before you leave, remember, the prince's party is in 2 nights. Them humies will be distracted. You'll be able to get in and get him, and then we bring him back and we roast him. Yeah, for the foods and the informations, but also the eating." So he's like, and like shoos you out the door with his. He then goes back to reclining on his.
Recliner?
Yep, he pulls the handle and the footrest comes up.
It just doesn't fit in with the rest of the things around him.
Like only half of him fits in it. He's like sit at a weird angle, but he's really committed to the bit.
Moontooth absolutely hates new technology and the new ways. So my goal is to try and get all of you. I'm going to get you into my method of transport, which is several Nash hounds towing a sled.
Okay, Nash hounds. How big are they?
About the size of a dog.
A big dog?
Chihuahua.
About the size of a sled dog.
Ah, good. That's convenient.
They're like a pig.
Okay.
A pig about the
Then
size
why
of
is
a
it like
dog.
a dog?
Imagine a pig that's the size of a dog. They're the size of that pig.
In my mind,
Halve that,
pigs
then
are the
double it.
size of dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are too, unless they're
I'm
big
going to name
pigs.
some more things that are about that size.
Yeah,
Like a bobcat.
smaller than a zebra, bigger than a gerbil. We're in that range somewhere.
Miniature pony size.
Okay, so you've lashed together a couple of Nash hounds.
A couple? I said several.
4. Final offer.
All right, I'll meet you at 4.
And how do you guys, like Profanius, is this something that Bog Alcaruk frowns upon, or is this a permitted form of transport?
No, this is absolutely a permitted form of transport. And if there's one thing that Profanius does like to do, it's stand in a particular way. No matter what he's doing, if he's not walking, he's standing. And think a Superman type pose with the wistful looking off to the side. And when people go, "What are you thinking about?" I'll be like, "Funny you should ask. Have you ever heard of the teachings of, praise be his name, Bog Alcaruk?"
Praise be his name.
you
And then
very
everyone's like, "Oh God, why did I ask?"
Exactly.
This is-
So, no, this is 100% permitted. In fact, I'm the first one on the back of this sled, so I can get a good position to stand there and pose.
I've won him over as well with a bunch of different trinkets that are on the sled. There's the tiny little dash mounted statue for safe travel of, what's his name? Borg Elkarok.
Bog Alcaruk.
Praise be his name.
His name.
There's a dream
Is it
catcher.
a bobblehead of
Yes,
Bog Alcaruk?
there's also the bobblehead. There's the dream catcher, and then there's the suction cap one on the side that hates Mondays.
And there's the snow globe one of Bog Alcaruk's greatest triumph, which of course was
The creation of orc kind itself, the pulling of the sacred parsnips out of the ground and turning them into the forefathers of the orcs that we all became today.
And if you turn it upside down, snow goes on that scene.
Absolutely.
The orc, a fascinating people, capable of incredible brutality and cruelty, but also demonstrating some rudimentary intelligence after a period of 100 years of rapid evolution. Now we see one of their latest inventions, Orc Tube. Let's see what's on.
So we is peeling off the next layer. Let's open up and see what we found. Oh, it's a brain. Them Umis have brains inside their head. What a treat. Don't forget to click claws up.
Ah yes, the popular unboxing video. Now let's try a tutorial channel.
Welcome to the flashing orc painting. Today we is taking the small dolly and putting colour on it. First, get the brush, then get the paint. Hang on, it is business orc.
Them crumpins get lots of gubbins.
Ha ha ha! That is business talk.
As you can see, they are mostly devoid of intelligent content. Let's check back in another 100 years. You start making your way across the open fields leading towards Glittergate. And as you're coming down this road, and it's like a winding pathway that slowly emerges from the mountains of the north, you come down into the deep forests that surround the city of Freiburg. And as you start approaching closer and closer, you see some of the small little satellite villages and hamlets that are around the main town where the workers live. And you start rolling in that road from the north there. This sort of, it's hardly a trail, but your all-terrain sled makes it over that pretty well.
It does. I put the all-terrain tracks on this bad boy, and it's got the new suspension.
Is he from New Zealand?
I'd like to apologise to our Kiwi listeners.
Listener.
All right. So as you're in the depths of the forest, ahead you start hearing with your keen orc ears this noise of sort of low mumbling and talking. And as you get closer and closer, you hear, "Listen, Sarge, all I'm saying is, if we took all the booze from the people who come through here, we could drink even more." And then you hear another voice that's like, "No, I've told you, Dave, this is not a thing that we can do because we are here. We represent the last line, the thin green line between the city and the that's how the voice goes. The forest." He's like, "Yeah, the forest. That's why they call us the." He's like, "The Forest Watch." He's like, "Yeah, that's the one. Yeah." And you can see that, like, even from a distance, you can see that they're shambling around and they're clearly like a mess. They're unshaven
And Lady Cluck is playing badminton.
there's a cartoon fox there. At least one of them is. That's Robin Hood.
It's in the public domain now. It's fair game. Go for it.
So, in the middle of the path, you can see the roadblock there, and there's, logs blocking the road. There's a shoddily built guard tower, and you can see a handful of men there that are dressed in like green tunics and green tights and green shoes with little points at the end, and green hats, pointy hats with feathers sticking out of them. And at least one of them is like fall down, unconscious drunk. The rest are like unshaven, messy, shabby. Their uniforms are dirty and torn, but they're sort of pacing back and forth in the vicinity of this roadblock. Now you're still concealed around a bend in the woods here. You can just make them out. What's your plan? How are you going to approach this?
We have a plan. I mean,
We have a plan.
I have the skill of creating a distraction. I also have equipment, namely bees. How do we feel about?
I can't wait to find out if it's a whole hive or if you have like
Yeah,
a
it is.
Tupperware container of several bees and royal jelly.
3 bees. No, it's an industrial size hive. You didn't notice it. It was on the back of the wagon as we. It was on the back of the sled as we.
Okay, so how are you gonna use this beehive to create a distraction?
Can we combine our powers? Can it be teleported a couple of feet in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, you could throw it, but your 2-foot teleport could also work.
You're better off throwing it.
Yeah, okay.
I have no faith
think
in
the
my magic.
The 6 of us will all chip in and just throw it at the guards.
So you're throwing these at the. So you're going to use. That's one of your skills.
Yep. So creating a distraction.
So to do a check in this game, you roll a dice. 4, 5, or 6 succeeds. Now you're getting an extra dice for that as a skill. You're getting an extra dice again for using a piece of equipment, and I think you're getting 2 dice for it being your drive of helping the orcs achieve their mission.
It is actually.
So
So
is that going to be
I'm
5
rolling
dice in total?
5 dice in total.
They all have to be 4+, so good luck now.
That's not helped the
Not
cause.
how it works. Right, go roll those
All right,
dice, and I'm
rolling.
going to roll just 2 dice for these terrible guards.
Oh, out of 5, I've only got 2 successes.
Okay, and the guards have 1 success, so you have succeeded.
Okay.
So as this beehive leaves your hand, launching towards the roadblock, tell me what happens.
The hive starts to disintegrate in midair, and it plummets to Earth about half the distance towards the actual roadblock itself. The bees start losing their mind, and half of them turn back towards us and start attacking.
So your distraction, in summary, is that it's a group of orcs being stung by bees that will distract the soldiers from their normal duties.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Well, I'm glad
yes.
you didn't roll a fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You chose to turn that success into a failure, and
To
I'm
be
all
fair,
here for
no.
it.
Half of the bees have continued on with the momentum of the hive, and are now striking deep into the heart of enemy territory.
How would you describe the path they've taken towards the Robin Hood?
I would describe it as.
No, I would have said they made a beeline.
Oh, that was better. Yeah. Okay. No,
Can we get rid of that?
Or fix it in
Yeah,
the edit.
Yeah, can we
please.
fix it in post? Pretend I
Right.
said nothing.
So what's going on with you two? What are you two doing? He's obviously launched this plan with no consultation.
No,
so-
absolutely not. And you know what? I sit there, I watch this beehive fly through the air, I watch it fail, I watch it crash, and I watch it land.
Only half
and
of
I
it.
watch this mist, this fog of bees, if you will, now half going that way, half coming this way. And I sit there and I tut, and I shake my head, and I say in the name of Bog Al Karok,
Blessed be his name.
I'm just going to walk towards this group. Arms outstretched, I'm just going to walk towards the group and go, children, my son. And I'm intending to spread the word at all costs of Bog Al Karok to these people.
So you're
I'm,
not
I'm walking towards them. Arms wide open,
you're not
straight
attacking
towards
them?
them.
You're not yelling at them?
I'm saying in a loud voice, in my orcish voice, which is obviously clear and succinct, I'm going to be saying to them, praise be to the Lord, Bog Al Karok, hear his name, convert ye and be saved. And I'm walking towards them like that. I'm expecting them to come out to meet me and hear the word of Bog Al Karok. And if they don't, I will kill them.
I'm going to just roll some dice here. They're going to fire back at you with their cheap bows because all of a sudden this beehive's broken open. They're like, what the heck is it? And the one up in the guard tower has gone, it looks like an orc! And he's fired his cheap bow at you. And unluckily for you, he's got 2 successes. How many are you rolling a dice there?
Well, I'm spreading the word
Okay,
of
so you-
Bog Al Karok, which actually is one of my drives.
Cool. So roll 3 dice for me.
Oh, thank you.
Just 1 success. Okay.
One success.
So you've ended up with a -1 success. So what's actually going to happen is this guard using his cheap, terrible quality bow, like it's like one of those you get in the kids' playset with the plunger arrows. You hear like a twang as the arrow looses free, and just by chance it goes up in this arc and comes down. And it's like moving with the speed of gravity towards you, and just boonk, just sticks right in your armor there. Actually gives you a bit of a wound.
Gives me a bump.
Yeah, a bit of a bump. Just bounces off one of your shoulder plates. But the guards are now obviously clearly well alert. Mike, what's Moontooth doing?
Moontooth loves being sneaky and spooky. So I have these great big antlers that come out of my like wooden totem style helmet that I wear. And I do a loud cackle. And there's lightning and things shooting all out from around me, and the forest goes dark and then bright light and then back dark again.
Like a rave party?
Yep, and I'm silhouetted, and I have the attention of everyone as I'm being really menacing. And then, as the light dissipates and everything just comes back down to normal, I then go, "Nyah," and I just throw my stone axe single-handedly at one of them.
All right. Roll for me.
I'm going to give you 2 dice if I can. 1 for the skill, 1 for the equipment. And then does that make it 3?
Yeah, you can give a base dice.
Yeah, go on then. 2 success.
Okay, and the guards have rolled 1 success back. So you've got 1 success. So your axe tumbles end over end through the air and up to the guy in the guard tower it goes, and the blunt end hits him, but just bonk straight on the noggin, and he sort of wheels backwards arms flailing, does the pinwheel right on the edge where it looks for a second like he's going to catch himself, but then falls off onto the cross spiky wood barriers and just completely impaled onto them. It sounds like a duck noise, I don't know why, but it's meant to be a squelch. He falls straight on, gets impaled, and just this explosion of sort of blood goes everywhere. And you can see the rest of the troops are just horrified at seeing this. Oh my, what happened to Dave? They're all called Dave, I think, but what happened to Dave? And the sergeant's like, hey, you stand fast, men, you hold the line there. But you can see him like slowly backing away behind his crew as he's doing it. He's like waving his arms to push them forward, gradually stepping back. But now they're like up on the line and the bowstrings are coming back. And then they can see some of them have got like woodsman axes. They're not proper combat axes, but they're ready to go. Who's doing anything?
Well, I think with the phenomenal combination of distracting lightning strikes and various bees, I think this is a good opportunity. I've got a skill of swarming over blokes.
Yep.
That's a skill. So, there's 6 of us and I can just pick one and go to town. I also have a brick in a sock. I feel like with sufficient enthusiasm, I can probably maybe go for the sergeant. Really instill a panic amongst the troops. What do you reckon? Good idea?
I reckon someone somewhere's missing a sock and they're thoroughly impressed.
And 1 brick from their house.
So tell me how many dice you got for that? You running up on him?
Okay, so I've got a base dice. I've got 1 for swarming over blokes, which is a skill. 1 for my brick in a sock. I'm actually a bit nervous now because my B plan hasn't gone quite to plan. One of my drives is to not die. I'm actually genuinely afraid I'm going to die now because we screwed up the initial plan. That'll give me 2 more dice, so I'm up to a total of 5. What do we think? Before I go, what do you reckon?
I don't think the orcs have time for consultation.
No.
I think you're act first, think later kind of people.
Yeah, that seems fair. All right, in that case, I shall roll 5 dice.
Roll those.
3 success.
Oh, and the guards have no successes. So you absolutely roll in, pushing through the front rank of soldiers. You're just like moving them to the side, and the whole time you're spinning the brick in a sock over your head like a lunatic. Are you still in the on the shoulders formation, or are you now running as a pack?
Oh no, we're a pack. We're a
And
loosely.
are you like
formed
handing the brick from goblin to goblin as
no,
you're running, or just
no.
one have it?
Just the comedian going, hey, let me sock it to you, and then bang, yep,
Runs up,
yep.
and he just absolutely quilts this brick across the helmet of Sergeant Pinewood, and it's like the helmet does the old push down over the eyes thing, and big dent in the side, and he just falls like a tree. His big, like, giant bulk just drops down, and you can see the other guards. There's only like 2 left on the barricade now, and they look back, and they're just aghast at what's going on. They've seen this swarm of knee-high goblins go rolling past them. It's utter bedlam now. There's already a person who's exploded, and there's a guy who's had the old Asterix and Obelix style helmet crushed on his head.
And are the other guards just there still on the
They're still
on the
there.
roadblock?
They're still there frozen. You can see they've still got weapons in hand, but they're...
And I think this is the time for me to really, in their time of desperation and need, really show them the light, the saviour, the parsnip that is Bog Al Karok. So I go charging towards the closest guard towards me, screaming his name, praise be his name. And I hit him with my sword, my ancient sword of Bog Al Karok.
Oh, the holy relic.
The holy relic.
Dropping pamphlets everywhere.
Yeah. As I hit him, knowing full well that as I hit him over the head, cleave him over the head with this sword, it will help him believe.
It'll help him something.
So I'm going to do that.
Okay, so how many dice are you doing there? Is it two?
Well, the ancient sword of Bog Al Karok's a 1. It's part of my equipment. So 2.
You got drive or something in there as well?
Well, you know what? I'm trying to, I think, prove the supremacy of Bog Al Karok, which is one of my drives. So that's another 2.
Excellent.
Actually. So I'll use both those.
Sure.
And I have 1 success.
Okay, well, the guards are swinging back with their axes that are in the line. They're trying to frantically defend the barricade, and they've made 1 success. So actually what happens is, even though you're swinging this gigantic sword overhand with your whole body weight, one little guard just puts his axe up and holds it two-handed, like with his eyes closed above his head, and the sword just goes, took, and just hits the axe blade, and he just stood there. He's not looking at you, and you're not looking at him, but you're still just Brog Al Karok, praise be his name. Just the whole yelling at him, and the guardsman's like, all right, I don't care, whatever you say.
And I like the idea that as that sword comes down and blocks that death blow, and he's looking there scared and petrified, I can smile back at him and go, see, Bog Al Karok looks and cares for you. He saves you.
Until this happens.
And then I reach in and tear his throat out. Yeah. No, sorry.
Moontooth, what are you doing?
Moontooth turns and sticks his head straight into one of the lanterns of fire. He reaches back out, his face is ablaze. He raises two palms up towards the sky and pillars of flames, inferno into the sky. There are things, branches are singeing, animals are falling from the landscape. Everyone's screaming, and then all of a sudden it all cuts. And then I draw my bow from my bag and I go, whoop, and let one arrow loose towards the next one.
All right, roll those dice for me.
So I have for you that I'm being spooky. I'm using my bow, and I'm going with the old ways of being an orc and using an old-fashioned bow for my hunting.
Sure.
And also being a bit loose. One success.
Oh, so your little arrow, bonk, just arcs, this beautiful little arc, and it lands straight in the neck of the one that Profanius is currently locked in with. And at that moment, he's still got his axe raised above his head and his eyes closed, and he goes, I thought you said he looked after me. And just keels over.
Yeah, I like that
And he
idea.
falls to the side.
Bog Al Karok, he saves you. And the guy looks up with him some hope, like, maybe you are converted. And then, boom, in the jugular.
Burting as he falls down.
I think I was really getting through to this guy.
Look, Bog Al Karok says a lot of things, all right? Let's just...
Cold sales are hard.
Yeah.
You don't need me making it harder for you.
They're all dead.
Right.
There's no one left alive. But on the plus side, you do scavenge around for a whole bunch of equipment there. And you can see, even though they've been sort of in disarray and they're a mess and everything, there's a little cache of equipment behind. There's a big chest. And when you open it up, you find 3 pieces of equipment in there. Tell me what you find, Fitz.
Oh, no. You're going to ask me to use my imagination here. You know what I find? I don't know what the ancient, like a gourd, like a type of traveling,
Like a wineskin?
a
or
wineskin full of very nice, high quality wine.
Excellent. Just write that in your thing for me there. I'll tell you what else you find, and you can choose to share these out however you like. What else you find is a perfectly tailored, beautiful condition dress uniform. That's obviously for the Forest Watch. It's exactly like the one you saw, the green and everything, like the full sort of Kermit the Frog neck frill as well. But this has like braid on the shoulders, and it's got little spots for medals. There's no medals on it, but there's the space for it. And there's all the dangly thread things that run from the buttons to the... It's like a warlord's uniform. It looks really lovely. Green and gold. And that any one of you can have that.
I don't want that because I found something way cooler.
What'd you find?
I look into the chest and I pull out first a whole bunch of extension cable, but then connected to the other end of it is a gorge foreman grill.
Nice. I wrote it.
I don't. Sure. So put that down on your character sheet. That is now a piece of equipment you can each use. Who wants the uniform?
My 6 goblins are all squabbling over the uniform, and they it's obviously starts in pristine condition,
Yeah.
ready for a dress form. And by the time we're done with it, it's like torn to shreds. It's embarrassingly like if an actual army officer wore it, they'd probably be in the brig before too long.
Yeah.
But we go, yeah, now it looks a bit more goblin-y, so yeah, we'll take that.
Excellent. All
I
right.
love the idea that you all ill fit into it, and like it's like in the shape of the person,
shape of a
but it's
human.
constantly moving with the goblin
Yeah,
running
yeah,
around
yeah,
inside.
yeah,
it
It's
and
like
stuff
bulging
that.
in weird places
Yeah.
and like stretched out. It's got one arm and all of a sudden it's got just a head with these 2 giant green ears.
Yep.
So after you've scavenged around there, you start making your way down this path. You continue on, and it's not long before you come up to the intersection where the main road meets this little forest path, and you can see Glittergate comes into view. You know, you come to the edge of the forest, and it's this idyllic scene where there's beautiful sunlight shining down on this massive city in front of you, and towering up above everything, you can see this ramshackle tower that's off at odd angles, climbing up, and you know that's the conclave of magicians and the magician's tower there. You can tell it's wizard stuff because there's constant like smoke and bangs and pops coming out of it. Right in front of you, just glimmering in the sun, is Glittergate, and you know
If the sun hits it right, it really does sparkle.
You know that it's famous for looking like this. It's like, it always looks like it's like wet stone. It's always shining. There's little glimmery bits in the rock. It's like a disco ball for your eyes. Well, like other disco balls that are also for your eyes.
I was about to say, disco balls for your ears.
So you move down, and you can see there's a bit of like pedestrian traffic and carts and things going towards Glittergate, which is one of the main entrances of the city. And you can see farmers leading horses and wagons and a few families and things. And closer to the gate, there's a few little small buildings like little taverns and inns and all that. So how are you going to approach this? So there's guards as well, obviously. There's guards on the gate, and they're out the front checking papers and taking tolls and things and tariffs. And up above the gate, there's stone. Above this sort of stone towers where you can see, sentries patrolling back and forth. What's your approach?
I start looking across the old shacks. Being from the old ways that I am, we're big on reconnaissance, and we used to come and scope out the lands. I can't keep doing that voice. No. He now talks like this.
His voice just broke.
I have old blueprints of this area outside of the main walls, and I know that this is where they used to construct the catapults and the trebuchets, the umis.
Yeah, you could only call it that if it's from the Trebuchet region of France.
Sparkling catapult.
From the Thanks, Andy, with that interesting insight into how toilet rolls are made. Now, we head over to Gore Grunter's Humie Pop Culture Corner, where I believe he's taking a look at a popular comic strip of a ginger cat who loves
The
lasagna.
first panel has this stupid-looking little Yumi with a head that needs to be punched and what eyes would describe as a furry orange squig thing, looking tired and complaining about Mondays. This speaks to a calendar system that is lost on Gore Grunter, as time is best measured by whether it is or is not time to be crumping. Gore Grunter wishes nothing but pain for this Bob Saget-looking motherfucker.
And we've lost the feed from Gore Grunter there, but stay tuned, as after the break, we'll be continuing our search for this summer's must-have from Inquisitech Toys.
So the old ways revolve around detailed town planning, is that
Yeah, they're really big on town planning,
Yep.
architecture,
for humans?
for humans specifically.
Who are a different species. Yep, you're
But the
sworn
main
enemies.
point being that I find the old catapult factory out the front of it.
Makes perfect. So, all right, before you go on, how are you approaching, like, people, if they see orcs, they're going to be a bit distressed. Is there a sneaky way you're doing this? Are you waiting till nightfall? Because it's sort of mid-afternoon now. You've got almost two whole days till the party starts, the prince's party.
Well, you're a magician, are you not? Moontooth? Perhaps.
I'm an illusionist.
Yeah.
He's a shaman.
And wasn't there a magician's tower? I mean, I don't know if that's a conclave of Umi magicians.
Well, yeah, I mean, orcs, you've been at war since before you were born. This is not a place where orcs will be welcome at all. This will be a shoot-on-sight kind of zone for orcs.
They've got magicians, we got magicians. They got rangers, we got rangers. They balance it out quite evenly with the statistics. This is World of Warcraft 1, where there's a 1-for-1 of everything in the game.
Right. I just thought you might have some sort of secret handshake.
No, they got the upside, I got the downside.
Right.
Idea. Speaking of
Thanks,
downside, we're walking through the Gnomish quarter and the Dwarven district.
Well, you will be when you get inside, but you're still well outside of the
We're
gates.
outside the gates.
Yeah, but what if we walk up on our knees and we're just like, hey, we're just gnomes. We're gnomes and dwarves.
That's like 12 knees for you.
It's a lot of knees.
Wait, hang on. Yeah,
You're a lot smaller than the rest of us.
Yeah, you probably don't need to be on your knees. I would have
Because
thought
you could just be a casual tourist as a Humie in your suit, and you just casually walk up and sit in a catapult. And then, hey, that's clear, launch you over to Fitz.
So can I just clear then, there's no orcs really walking around this town.
No, you've been at war. I told you, you've been at war. What? Are you insane?
Kind of like to think of a world where we all just get along.
I mean, I like that, but you've been
So
at war.
work towards that, but that's not what this is.
First, we need to kidnap and murder the
This
prince.
is why they have walls.
Okay, so with all these, I have an
Yeah,
idea.
you're the baddies, Fitz. I'm sorry to tell you.
So there are we the baddies? At one of these, I am aware because I have some knowledge about the human cults in the city that do worship Bog Al-Karok. And
Praise be his name.
the one true God.
You need to preach to me more about
I'm
it.
surprised there's not more people worshipping.
What? And you know what? We should get inside this city and spread the word. Say his name. But in the meantime, to get into the city, I'm aware that there is a tavern of a human cult just along outside here. It's the Tavern of the Parsnip and Whistle.
Very famous one, yep.
And I know that
What's their specialty dish again?
their specialty parsnip stew.
Isn't it profane to eat parsnips?
It is. The secret to it's only called parsnip stew because of how sacred parsnips are. It's actually just full of human meat.
It's a cannibal tavern.
It's a cannibal tavern. It's full of venison, we'll call it.
People.
It's called full of venison.
Yeah.
People. And it's called parsnip stew because, it's like parsnip ale. There's not really parsnips in it.
Yep, okay. He says that as if he looks at me imploringly like it's a fact that we all know. Sure.
Stop
I'll
asking
take
me
it.
questions. We're going to the Parsnip and Whistle.
Yep.
And I know that the owner, the innkeeper, if you will, is actually a cultist of the god
What's his name?
Al-Karok. The Bog Al-Karok.
No, the innkeeper.
Oh, right. The innkeeper.
stall.
His name is Michael.
Bolton.
Surprised it's not Dave. We've just bumped into like 5
There were
Daves.
5 Daves there. Even the sergeant was called Dave. You just didn't hear his first name.
David
You call
Whistle.
him David. You'll show some respect.
David Whistle is his name, hence the name, the Parsnip and Whistle.
I mean,
That was the saddest
Parsnip
sigh.
sold his half.
I'll allow it.
He wanted to crawl in on our knees. He wanted to trebuchet over the doors. I'm coming up with my best plan.
Did you say that this tavern is like adjoining the wall? Like is
It's one of those ones that just outside the wall. Just
outside
Yeah.
the wall.
It's a
Okay.
risky spot to drink. When you
Sure
could
is.
use one of the taverns inside.
Well, I think it's for people who have been denied entry. They just capitalise on the market of people whose visas get knocked back.
So they could be on our side.
That's what I'm saying.
Or the people who just want to get outside the town and eat human meat.
Well, yeah, I'm not convinced that the humans of this area are cannibals, but let's roll with it and see what happens.
They're not aware of what they're eating.
I feel this is like the time
pretty
you wanted
dark.
to play a role-playing game where you just ran a bakery. It's
Can
not.
we? Maybe we need to run this tavern.
I think so.
Okay. So
I know
are
Dave's
you-
looking to sell.
Are you?
He'll give it at a price. I think the rest of the episode is us just running this
His
tavern.
Parsnip
partner,
sold
yeah,
his
Thomas
half.
Parsnip sadly passed away, and his widow couldn't keep running it. All right, so you get up to the tavern. Is it sneaky hedge to hedge going up, or is it walking up on the knees? How are you getting to the
I
front
think
door
we're
of
trying
the
to come
tavern?
in the back door, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're doing the old on tiptoes
Yeah.
sneak.
Yeah, the old Acme Looney Tunes type.
Yep. Okay. So all three of you going into this tavern.
I have my Thunder Bear cloak on, which you're about to ask me what it does. It's a concealment cloak. Because there's Thunder Bears everywhere around these parts, so...
Okay, so you're all going to sneak up towards the back door of the tavern there. Mike, you said you got a cloak that's helping you, so you're going
The
to roll
Thunder
me
Bear cloak, I'm going to roll you 2 dice.
2 dice. Okay. Fitz, what you got?
So now I'm gonna be standing here holding in my hand, just arms wide open again, the sacred parsnip of Bog Al-Karok. Praise be his name.
So you're going to hope that people mistake you for
It's
a
going to be one of those
parsnip
ones
salesman.
that you're so confident that people can't see you and everyone's going about their daily business that it almost is a disguise in and of itself.
He looks a bit crazy, so he knows people will avoid him,
All
as he
right.
might be asking
so
for
roll,
money.
You're each going to get 2 dice. Wegs, are you going to use any
I
equipment
am
to do the sneak?
in my equipment. I have assorted moss. Now, each of us have a couple of handfuls of moss, and we're putting it down on the ground in front of us as we sneak, so to soften the sound of the footfall, not thinking that we're also just walking
Incredibly
on grass
visible.
and
Yeah.
incredibly visible.
Yeah.
But
Oh, look, I like it. It makes perfect goblin sense to me. So everybody roll 2 dice.
1 success.
2 successes.
one success.
Okay. Well, I would say that you all successfully sneak in the back door of this tavern, but Fitz sneaks so well that it's like the Red Sea parting, like people keep just moving out the way. And pedestrian traffic has almost gone to 0 by the time you get in this tavern. And as soon as you walk in that back door, you see people just like quickly finish their pint and walk out the front door. So you
The
find
opposite
yourself
of sneaky, but I like it.
You find yourself alone in this tavern with just there's a handful of sort of old school patrons in the corner. One of them looks elderly and asleep, and behind the counter there is the man whose name I don't remember, Dave Whistle.
Dave Whistle.
That's him. Pretty sure.
Standing in front of a photo of Thomas Parsnip.
Yeah,
behind him.
it's actually a portrait of the two of them with their arms
Yeah.
arms over each other, and he's just shedding a silent tear. He's rubbing the photo and he's saying, "I still miss you." Still
next
miss
to them
you,
is a
Tom.
little framed, the one shekel that they first ever made when they opened the tavern.
Yeah.
But there has to be a celebrity that they're hugging as well. There's the two of them and...
Famed podcaster, the Flashing Badger, an anthropomorphic badger who runs a podcast, a weekly gaming session in the basement of the Whistle and the Parsnip and Whistle.
Parsnip and Whistle.
Thank you, but I was looking for El Wachino. Wow.
I think we
We'll
can
stick with
just...
the badger one. So he's there, and it's in the middle, and obviously you'd be pretty struck by it, even though, funnily enough, no one actually knows what he looks like because he's never puts himself on camera because he's shy.
Yes, also cameras haven't been invented yet.
Well, that's also been an issue for him.
True.
So I see him, and I'm walking straight up to him, and I'm all ready to give the sacred handshake of Bog Al Karok, but in a way that makes it seem like he doesn't recognize me as a giant orc, thinking that I'm just some person.
He's just going to be overcome by your Bog Al Karukness.
Yes.
He sees past race and species, and it's nice in a way.
Is this David Whistle you're trying to fool?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, you want.
I'm not trying to fool him. I'm just going up to him to say, David, we need to talk.
He turns around and he's like, "Oh, Profanius, not here. We must talk in secret room. Secret room that is up the stairs to the right, second door on the left. Go to that secret room. And I'll meet you there." And he has a giant wink, and you see other people in the pub just watching this exchange.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
He says it pretty loud.
over.
Everyone hears this.
Yeah, and he sort of beckons you up the stairs, and he just steps onto the bottom stair, and you hear the creak, and one of them goes, "Oi, David, you're going up to secret room. You're right, if we pull our own points, we'll leave money on the bar." And he's like, "Yes, Jeff, I've told you last time, don't keep mentioning secret room. All right?"
Also, was it a long trip from Cornwall to get here?
I've only got 2 regional accents. You best go with it. I apologize to all the people.
And above his head on the stairs is the sign that says secret room with the arrow pointing up.
It's in neon, even though this is an ancient tavern.
It's got the toilets. Toilet this way, secret room that way. Just
I like that. We pull our own paints, and it's like you can't except for Sharon. She's cut off.
And then you hear a distant...
Sharon, you know what you did. All right, so you make your way upstairs into the secret room, and the door swings shut behind you. And completely illogically, as soon as the door shuts, he drops to a whisper, and he's like, "All right, Profanius, how can I help you, brother of Bog Alcor?" Praise be his name.
You hear rooms down the corridor. We'll go praise be his name.
Come down,
Someone's pouring a pint.
and someone does this, has got it wrong and gone, "Take that on spoon." It's a callback.
Shared universe.
Check out Only War episode if you'd like to hear more. And he's like, "Brother Profanius, how can I help you?"
It's like, and we just explained to him, we need to get into the city. We need to.
Oh.
You need him to sneak us into the city.
Sorry,
somehow.
Brother Profanius, I don't understand you with that strange voice. You should best do your orc voice.
Why do you sound like a middle-aged Australian man?
Thanks for doxing me. What's his name again? Dave.
Profanius?
No, Dave Whistle.
You named him.
You named both.
Oi, David. David, we need you. I can't even. What is an orc? That's right, I'm an orc. Bog Al Karok needs you to get us into the city. Undercover.
Profanius, I don't like it when you do that voice. Bog Alcaruk does not approve of disguises or sneakery or mimicry or ventriloquism. And you know why. That's in the texts. Thou shalt not impersonate a parsnip. Stuff like that.
There's a whole chapter on parsnips.
Yeah, you got to skip past a bit there about how to prepare and clean parsnips and so on. But human soup's going well. Thanks for the recipe.
At this point in time,
Someone spits their soup down in the stew.
I've hit a wall.
You made this world. You made this. So
All right,
he's like,
I've got the voice down, so we'll skip past that.
He's like, "Okay, Profanius, well, I can help you I can help disguise you and put you in the back of the wagon and get you through the glitter gate, because obviously Bog Al Karuk says disguise and trickery is okay when it's against non-believers."
Yeah, and at this point in time, in order to convince him to get us through the gate, I pull out the sacred parsnip of Bog Al Karok, and I start to beat him mercilessly with it, because being cruel in the name of Bog Al Karok praise be his name, is one of my skills. This is to convince him.
We made such
This is to convince him to do a good job and to sneak us in.
After he just said he would do it, you're like, now I will beat him to make sure he does it.
Bog Al-Karok doesn't need your judgment. He doesn't need logic.
David's like, Profanius, thank you for this beating. Bog Al-Karuk. I really appreciate. I praise that Bog Al-Karuk will not take my other eye because I need it to navigate
The one remaining one.
gates.
Bog Al-Karok has left you with one eye in order to help us. Praised be his name.
Praise be his name. Everybody else, praise be his name. He's like, well, we have to wait till nightfall. Thank you for ceasing your beating, Brother Profanius, but we have to wait till nightfall and make our way inside. Are you all traveling together?
We are.
You're like, however will we pass the time? And then you just punch your fist into your other hand. Profanius, no!
Profanius, no!
You just beat him until nightfall.
How does Moontooth feel about all this chicanery and, you know?
You hear Sharon downstairs hearing the beating and going, yes. Start pouring your own pints.
It's like, Sharon, I can hear you, man. Get away from that bloody tap.
Moontooth can't stand the new way of thinking and planning that orcs have. So this sudden beatdown with a parsnip to get us through the gates has me pleased.
Oh, okay. Good. I thought that was going in a different direction.
No, because at the very beginning, we were hearing about how we had to change our ways and unite together as different war bands and use tactics to get in. So I was uncomfortable at the start.
I thought the old Weird Forest were against Bog Al-Karuk and his new influence.
Are they? Allow me to reference my sheet. I'm displeased with what
And that's role-playing, folks.
No, there you go. No, Bog Al-Karok
Even
is
though
one of
Mike
the...
approves of beating people with parsnips, Moontooth doesn't.
Bog Al-Karok is the ancient god. He's the one true god. The god that pulled us all out of the parsnip field and made us the orcs.
I thought that had just happened like 50 years ago, that someone had gone, I found a parsnip inscribed with the words of God, and then I ate it before I could show anyone.
No. Bog Al-Karok literally pulled out parsnips from the ground and turned them into the wonderful orc fathers.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Well, I mean, he sounds great to me. I think he should be something.
So he's part of the ancient ways. I dare say that Moontooth would probably enjoy those.
And how do the goblins feel about theology in general? I don't think they have
the goblins at hearing the invite to pour your own drinks. They've all stayed downstairs, and they keep getting side eye glances from like the three remaining patrons. And the goblins just no, we're gnomes, we're good, don't mind us. And they're pouring their own drinks, playing darts.
There's the
playing
one
pool.
with his mouth open under the tap, and the other one's just holding
They're
it.
drinking the profits. That one guy's just had 6 pints.
One of the goblins, Stinky
Even
Pete.
Sharon's like, cut him off.
No, Stinky Pete is pouring beers and going, this one's for me. He sees a solitary tear trickle down Sharon's cheek and says, all right, love, you have this one. Hands over, and Sharon all of a sudden is back on the wagon.
Just as Sharon's about to take it, he smashed it in the ground. He's like, I tricked you. He told you were cut off. Get out of here, Sharon.
Her face is on the wall as well. Of people that are
Do
cut
not
off.
serve.
As she walks out the door.
Barbara Streisand. Apparently, the two people that have crossed someone during this game.
just banned. All right. So night begins to fall and it gets dark. And sure enough, Mr. Whistle takes you out to the van and the van.
The van. The Huey.
He takes you to the VW combis.
The Kia Carnival.
We're just jostling over. Who's got shotgun because no one wants to slide back the door.
He walks up and he presses the button and the horse's ears go up and down and he lifts up the tarpaulin on the back of the wagon and he shoos you all in. And it's unnecessary to be in a wagon because it's about 25 feet to the gate, but still the guards are watching him load you under the tarpaulins like from the gate. It's a bit odd, but sure enough, puts you under the tarpaulin and you start to roll. I was going to say wagon your way inside. You're wagging your way inside. It's a verb. Are you just lying completely still playing possum, or are you doing something to help this deception?
I'm taking this opportunity to speak quietly to one of the goblins. Not the Andrew Dice Clay one, and not the.
Yeah, come on, Chatterbox. Let's see what you got.
What other goblins do we have there?
Well, I've got Stinky Pete. I've got Stab, the sneaky one.
Oh, I think there's one that's a bit of a foodie, the gourmand.
There is, yeah. Goblet, the gourmand.
Oh, I'm going to speak to Goblet the Gourmand, and I'm just quietly trying to convert him.
He'd probably like parsnips.
Well, in Bog Al Korok heaven, parsnips are for everyone. Parsnips abound.
Great, sign me up. I'm converted.
Unlike on Earth, where parsnips are strictly forbidden.
Strictly rationed.
I hope you're making notes of
It's
this.
not even
'cause
like they grow on trees or anything.
Next week, I would need you to come back to me and tell me exactly what the scripture says.
Uh-oh.
There is
I have
actually
a distraction plan if you need.
This is an asterisk thing on the bottom of my character sheet about the scriptures, which are they're non-existent.
Well, I think Profanius is making it up as he goes.
So
Way to ruin the religion.
I'm not helping. I'm just talking about Bog Al Korok under the tarp.
Is anyone else doing anything to actively help, or are you just gonna rely on chance?
I think we're hiding. We're laying flat.
Moonshot.
I'm going to create a distraction.
Uh-oh.
I have my pet Nash Hound, whose name is Snuffles.
Mr. Snuffles?
Professor Snufflesworth.
Sure.
Snuffles for short.
Snuffles is my pet Nash Hound, and I'm picking him up, and I look at him in his little chubby cheeks, and I'm like, "Get ready, Snufflesworth!" And I shake him like,
Like a magic 8-ball.
"Yes!" And he says,
His eyes are rolling around his head like a...
"Bet ask again later." But then I release Snufflesworth towards the guards, but off on a bit of an angle, so that he should just cheese it.
He's just sprinting past him and you're hoping that they'll...
Yeah. And I sprinkle some of my magic light powder on him. I looked at my sheet, it doesn't exist. But it makes him like this glowing orb of Nash Hound. Don't look at my sheet, you'll see this stuff doesn't exist.
you got some magic mushrooms there. You can always... they glow, don't they?
Can I use 2 pieces of equipment at the same
Sure.
time? Yeah, so the magic mushroom,
The glowing?
Yeah.
Glowing
What
mushrooms?
did I call it?
They're not the ones that make Snuffles just trip.
Speak to God.
Not the one that makes him hear colours.
So I sprinkle some of the coloured magic mushroom from the weird forest over Professor Snufflesworth to make him glow, and I give him a good shake, and I release him in the direction of the gate.
Off he zooms. Roll me a couple of dice and let's see.
You probably want to hear what sound he makes as he goes.
No, I'm fine.
3 successes!
All right, and the guards have rolled 1 success, so that seemed to me like a pretty definitive success. So the guards are instantly tearing off without even pausing to think. They just literally drop their swords and armor and stuff on the ground, just chasing him. They're like, I got him! I got him! And the other's like, no, I'm going to get him! They've got no concept of what they're going to do if they catch him. They're
Like
just
chasing a chicken around
incredibly
the barnyard, yeah.
enthused about this. And even the guards up on the walls are sort of peering over the parapet.
Taking
And
bets.
You can see one, he's like 40 feet up, but he's already got one leg over the parapet, like to climb down, and his sergeant's holding him by the scruff of the neck. Like,
I'm gonna get him!
it's like, Sean, you'll die. Remember what happened to Toby? So they're thoroughly distracted. The wagon rolls inside. And as it rolls in, you sort of peek out of the front of the tarpaulin there, and you see that you're in the gnomish quarter. And you can see this is like, there's steampunky artificer stuff. So there's this lamp posts that are powered by gas, and for some reason they've got like turning cog things on them for no point. And there's Tin Street out in front of you. That's the main artificer street, and you know that in the middle of the day this would be lined with stores selling all kinds of stuff. This is, even orcs know that this is the place to come for gadgets and gizmos and machinery. It's like, I don't know, Akihabara in Tokyo. It's like the place. Crowds are pretty thin at the moment because it's the middle of the night, but the wagon slowly rumbles in, and as it enters into the gnomish quarter, we'll find out what you see next week. Anyone who survived through the end of the episode, thanks very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed. This has been a fairly eventless episode of Havoc Brigade because there've been a lot of banter. But Havoc Brigade, it's made by Rowan Rook and Descartes. It's been great fun so far. We're going to continue next week with part 2 of the episode. Thanks again to Grant Howitt for designing it. You can grab a copy. There's affiliate links in the description or Rowan Rook and Descartes' website. We love it if you leave us a review. In-universe reviews are our favourites. As you've heard at the start of this episode, we will read them out. And tell your friends about us. We would like more people to listen. Nobody loves it more than when people evangelise aggressively a podcast to them, like Bog Al Karuk.
Praise be his name.
And everything in the Flashing Badger universe is contained in the Patreon. So for $1 a month, there's the podcast and the painting channel perks and exclusives. That includes our table reads when we have our homework given to us by Gordon, where we read out our different commercials, and some sneak peeks of what other ones are on the way. There's also, as I mentioned, the painting channel. There's Flashing Badger Painting on YouTube with me, Mike, as I paint little action dollies in my parents' basement. And
And most importantly,
there's our Discord. So there's a link in the podcast description. There's hundreds of us in there now. I think we've got well over 300. Come and hang out with us. Be part of selecting and shaping the narrative of the RPGs.
most excellent. So next week we are going to have the part 2 of Havoc Brigade, when I suspect the stakes will get ever higher. Wegs, favourite part of the adventure so far?
The bee failure was pretty entertaining.
Fitz, what about you? What's,
I just like the in his name, the so unnecessary and senseless beating of an ally with the ancient parsnip, sacred parsnip of Bog Alcorok.
I like the whole time you're doing it as well. That goblin was sort of jumping, trying to take a bite of it as you're swinging it to hit it. Moon Tooth, Mike, what?
My favourite part, I think, was that our war boss, for whatever reason, in all these ventures and travels, Barbara Streisand has crossed him and he won't let it go.
Skull Smasher's nemesis.
It's actually a common theme in this world, but anyway.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Really appreciate you being here. We'll see you next time. I've been Gordon.
I've been Mike.
And I've been Fitz.
I've been Wegs.
Thanks very much. We'll catch you next week.
Flashing Badger